There's a growing need for families to open up their homes as more children enter the foster system.
62% of children who are removed from home, the causes are preventable.
Children are on average staying in foster care for 17 and a half months. That's the national average. So if there's 350,000 kids in care, 62% of them, that's roughly 220,000 kids then that didn't need to be in care. Well, the current model is like, we're printing money and burning it.
I think a lot of people are like me. I care about people. I have a heart for people. Yeah, I didn't even know this was really happening, that there was this big of an issue.
Fraud will be back in the spotlight, digging into where millions of taxpayer dollars have gone that were supposed to be helping those in need.
The complete pause in funding to all federal daycare subsidies for the state.
The biggest issue is accountability with these agencies to deliver on what they say they're going to deliver. And we found out it took up to 9 months to get one family certified. Then we go to another state that says, oh, we wish we were at 9 months. We're at 16. I got kids waiting. And so you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's broken.
Money alone is not going to solve it. We can throw all the money in the world at a problem, but if you don't have people who care to step up and wrap around these families and to guide them through these issues, then you're just going to repeat the cycle over and over again.
God's already given me people and a microphone, and so I thought, how do I use that and leverage that for these children who have no voice?
A lot of people will say foster care, they'll say adoption. That fits inside of the bigger picture of what's called child welfare.
Anytime you see a child that doesn't have something as basic as a family, as love, it's heartbreaking. Every child deserves to have love and have a safe and stable home.
So if a child comes into care, typically 1 year is about $38,000. So right now, 350,000 kids roughly are in care. That's billions that it's costing just to have the child in foster care. That does not include the medical benefits and other things. I'm not even factoring that in. If you can keep a child out and keep a family together, get them out of crisis, you're saving hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer dollars.
Going state to state, one thing we've recognized is that all states are broken.
Every child welfare office has different regulations, has different rules. It's not easy. There's also state governments that change every 2 to 4 years. And you get momentum going and they are wanting to do something different. You're like, oh my goodness. And so when you're going into those and saying, hey, would you consider this organization? Would you consider this way? They're like, who are you? You know? And so you got to build trust.
And we want to work to bridge any gaps there could possibly be to bring these solutions to states. As we build those relationships, we then want to look at data and see, does the data support what the state is saying the problem is? Or does the data show a different picture?
But I would just say we need to ratchet up the accountability and we need to perform at higher levels like we do in any business.
There's 13 social determinants of success: financial stability, workforce, transportation, childcare, addiction, crime, physical safety, and there's others that you could look at. And one of those could be a domino to the rest. Let's say there's a single mom. She has a job, but she's got to drive 20 minutes to it. Her car breaks down. She calls her boss. Her boss says, hey, I'll give you the week, but if you're not here next week, we're gonna have to fill your position. Week goes by. She has the money to either fix the car or pay for rent. And she chooses to pay for rent so that she has a safe place. Because of that, she can't get her car fixed and she can't get to work, so she loses her job. So now she doesn't have a job, that's one. She financially is insecure because now she doesn't have a way to make money, so that's two. She doesn't have transportation, that's three. And the next thing that's gonna come up is, do I pay rent again or do I put food on the table? So now you just have 5 areas because her transportation broke down. She doesn't have the solutions around her to help her get that. So that's like a simple illustration of a domino effect that's happening to thousands of families in our country.
To learn that 62% of the cases where children are removed are preventable, we can do that. We can make a difference.
Bringing awareness is doing the work. That's half the battle. Because once people see, once people feel them, then people take action and people get creative. You start working with a huge group of people and they're like, what about this? What about this? They bring all these resources together and things start changing. But the very first thing you got to do is be aware of the need. And so that's been the model for others.
You'll see in our mission statement, we raise awareness and empower best-in-class organizations. Awareness is not awareness for awareness' sake. Like, you get somebody aware of something and now they know it exists. A lot of times it doesn't lead to anything. So what does awareness mean of like convening and showing a path to do something? One of the things that we do is working from the top down, bottom up. So with the government, understand what their problem is. We have a tool that we use to help the states see what the problem actually is and to be able to and then invite the right ground game solutions that could actually meet. We have the top and the bottom meeting together. So now you have the state and you have the public and the private working together, and we've helped to convene that. And not just in the convening, we are also then making large catalytic investments into starting something up to see if we can see over 2 to 3 years that solution prove out. Then great, let's keep doing it. And if we're not, then we can iterate on it to figure out, okay, let's change these things to see if we can improve. Once we know it works in 4 to 5 jurisdictions, now we see the culture changing in those communities and we can embed that into policy to get it in every county. So that's literally how it works and what we're doing. And that tool is the primary, that common agenda tool shows you the problem. It tells you what's going on with this system.
Well, I think in all businesses, we're trying to make matches. It's no different in the foster care industry. It's understanding that this kid has had significant trauma, whether it was abuse, whether it was rape, where contingent comes in to create the data, to create the leads. You need the information on the family in order to make that proper match, to make that proper, I would just say, fit, so that it sticks.
For us, when we actually present data with a plan and stories of how you then, if you use this data to do that, it creates this. And by the way, here's the story of a person that was impacted by that, but it started back here at the data. Those investors are going, I will cut a check for that. I will write a large one, and I won't just actually invest my money, I'll invest my time. I think we are seeing a new generation of donors who want to know when they give money, that when they give that money, it's going to change population outcomes. The kingdom has never lacked resources. There is $72.5 billion in the child welfare budget, just in government. And then in the United States, there's $270 billion in donor advised funds. Like, money doesn't create unity.
One of the beauties of what we can do as a strategic philanthropic partner is to go in and bridge that gap with funding to help states break down barriers. You know, if they can go to their leaders and say, I have $1 million of private funding sitting here on the table ready to go in this state from people who don't even live in this state. They're willing to invest in our state. It motivates those decision makers to unlock those funds. So in Iowa, we've invested about $1 million to launch our solution in 21 counties in 3 years. And along with that, the state is putting up $12 million in funds. So who wouldn't do that? Invest $1 million to unlock $12 million of state funds to help families, to help the most vulnerable.
Because we're here to seed it, we're here to help make it successful, get it off the ground in the state, because we know once they get it, it's gonna start working, and it has worked, and it's working everywhere we go.
When I had the dream years ago, what can I do? How can I use this microphone to bring awareness? We throw out a lot of numbers. There's this many kids, that these are all real people, real children that are not just numbers. You're dealing with vulnerable children, you're dealing with brokenness, you're dealing with heartache, you're dealing with trauma. They feel so insurmountable. They feel so big. You feel unseen. You feel completely abandoned. And yet, when you start taking those steps, people come alongside of you that have the same heart, and God just brings the right people. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But you keep pressing on, keep pressing on. You just keep treading, and then you start feeling the momentum. It's been as simple as that, and as complicated as that. Now, we're seeing visions of things that we wouldn't have dreamed. It just takes the right people to come along, but staying in the game, staying in those moments. I think that's where some of the beauty of For Others, and and what God is doing.